I'm Steve Caplin for CreativePro, and we're going to look at the problem of how do we tell what someone's thinking about. Well, one way is to show those thoughts inside his head. And this man is going to be thinking about birds. Here's our birds layer. To get the birds inside his head, we'll start by setting the opacity of this layer to 50%. We can do that by dragging the opacity slider, or if you have any of the selection tools or the move tool active, just hit the number 5 on your keyboard and that gives you 50%. Let's move this into place and we'll use free transform, that's Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, to make them slightly bigger. And when you're done, hit enter. We can now return this to 100% by pressing the 0 key, and let's add a mask to this layer. We'll go to Layer, Layer Mask, and we'll choose Hide All. And there's our mask. It's solid black, so we don't see anything of the layer. We'll use the brush tool, and we'll go for a large, soft brush. And when we paint in white, we reveal that layer. So let's paint that right down through the head. We don't want it to go over his collar, so let's reduce the size of the brush. Switch from white to black, and you can do that by pressing the X key on your keyboard, and now we can paint out those birds where they go over his collar. We want to lose some of this blue sky, so we'll go back onto the layer. Now there are several ways of doing this. We could try doing it with the magic wand tool, and we could click and select some of the blue and some more of the blue and some more of the blue, but it's a laborious process and we might miss some that way. So let's deselect, and here's a better approach. Double click the layer icon in the layers panel. And we're looking at this blend if section down at the bottom. We'll move it out of the way so we can see our image. And if we go to blend if, we want to change this to blue to get the sky. And now we can drag the right hand slider, and as we drag it, you can see anything brighter than the current position of the slider is hidden. It's a sharp cutoff, so we can split this into two. Hold Option or Alt, and now as we drag, we get a smooth transition between what's visible and what's hidden. And we'll click OK. Now nothing has been deleted here. We can always go back and adjust those sliders to reveal it again. You can see some of that bird is missing because there was very bright blue in its plumage. So let's use the Burn tool, set the range to highlights, and now with a smaller brush we can darken up those highlights to bring that bird back into view. Having everything contained within his head like this makes it a rather static image. It'd be better if some of the birds were flying out. Well, we had birds flying out. To see them, hold the Shift key and click on the layer mask to temporarily disable it. We can now select this area, taking in those two birds. And let's make a new layer of these birds by going to Layer, New, and Layer via Copy. We can now re-enable that layer mask by holding the Shift key and clicking on its thumbnail in the Layers panel. Note that the background on the birds disappeared, and that's because our Blend If section still applies to this copied layer. We can now switch to the Move tool, pick up those birds, and let's move them so they're just flying out of his head. And that little bird up there, let's select that, make a new layer, Layer, New, Layer via Cut, so it's on its own layer. We can use Free Transform to move it, flip it horizontally, and let's make it a little bit bigger. There's a slight fringe around this bird. We can bring up our layer style again, and now we can modify the blend if to remove that just from this one bird. And there is our man thinking about these birds which are now flying out of his head.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel. And for thousands more how-to articles and tutorials, visit our website, CreativePro.com, and become a member today. Thanks for learning with us.